good morning, good morning. This morning we're going to talk about income options, part of our series to raise our financial IQ. If you are sporadically coming in, hello Noel. I'm coming to you from Bliss Ranch in the foothills below Yosemite in California. I zipped over here a couple of days ago to do some ranch maintenance and kind of get my fix. Gloomy Chicago. Hello, Christian. Hello, Paul. So this morning, we're going to talk about income. And I'm going to post an article that I read. Hello, Stefan from South Africa. Recently that I think it was, I can't remember how many different ways it was, 7 or 9 or 10 different ways that you could make money, including there's a company on the West Coast that'll pay you to wash your dishes later than the peak hours of power demand. How about that? You can make money just by washing dishes later. So but the intention of this conversation is just to raise our level of awareness about all the different ways that a person can earn extra money. And, you know, you could like fill hours of studying opportunities just by Googling ways to make extra money. Just Google it and see what you come up with. I mean, you're going to find the craziest things and all kinds of them and things you never thought of, never knew about. Some of them might make you $50 a month, $20 a month, $200 a month, right? All kinds of ways to make money. And this is all in the context of, hey, if you want to get financially independent, which I believe in this day and age is pretty darn important. If you want to be independent, if it doesn't matter to you if you're independent, if it doesn't matter to you, whichever way the government goes, whichever way the economy goes, you're just going to be a seed or a leaf in that wind, and that's okay with you, then this doesn't matter. But if it matters to you that you're independent, that you can stand on your own, that doesn't matter if we have a liberal government or a conservative government, doesn't matter if Social Security goes bankrupt or doesn't matter about health care, you're independent. And that's the way Kimmy and I want to be, because we're only one vote, right? So we're one vote out of maybe, I don't know, 200 million people. Just one vote. And unless you're going to become a political operative and dedicate your life to campaigning for a particular political agenda, you're one vote. And so it might save your sanity. So here's the way I look at the government. So I don't know, like for 8 years it was liberal. For the last 4 years it's been conservative. I have no idea what it's going to be in 2021, but I'm just one vote. And so, you know, that's kind of like peeing in the wind a little bit, right? So instead of getting all twisted up about which way the government goes, since you're really not in control of that, how about control the things you can control, which is you, and how do you adapt based on the political agenda, the economy, the healthcare environment? How do you adapt? That's how you become independent, is how you adapt. So one of the ways you can become independent is you don't rely on other people like the government or perhaps an employer or perhaps any one client for your income. So you diversify your income. The smartest way to increase your income is reduce your expenses, because that's net income before taxes. And so we talked about that already. And so now what you can do is increase your income. So how can you increase your income? Well, I'll just rattle off a few ways that maybe you hadn't thought about. You know, so I would ask you, what's your number one passion and expertise? Like, what's your sweet spot? So I'm thinking about Doug Collins, who I did not read it, Doug, on the plane. I completely forgot, but I brought it with me, and I should go grab it and show people. So Doug Collins wrote a book on, tax deductions, and I assume that's Doug's passion, right? So, whatever you're super passionate or competent about, you ought to be able to write a book about it. You don't even need to be a writer. Like, you can hire a writer for 20 or 30 bucks an hour and just talk to them and they can write the book. And then how do you publish a book? You just format it and send it off to a printer and they print it. So in today's age, anybody can be an author. And we tend to think, oh, writing a book is a big deal. It's real expensive. No, I mean, you can like print books off your copying machine at home, right? You put a cover on it and 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and staple them together, or loop bind them or something, and now you got a book and you're an author, and you could sell that book on Amazon, or you could build a little tiny website and sell the book. And maybe it's a short book, maybe it's a book people can read in 30 minutes, and maybe you only charge $9 for it, right? So it might sound familiar. I wrote a book 10, 12 years ago called The 4-Year Career. I didn't bother to take it to a publisher. Hey, you want to publish my book about network marketing? Who's going to do that? I don't even know how to talk them into it. I'm going to sell millions of copies. No, but, I sell enough copies of that book every month. If I take the residual income from that book and I apply the rule of 200 to it, that book is probably worth $1 million, maybe $2 million as an asset. And it's been selling for 11 years. And so I only wrote it once. Guess how long it took me to write it? You probably know the answer to that, right? 3 days. And so what are you passionate about? What do you have expertise about? Maybe it's like gardening, or maybe it's healthcare, or I don't know, maybe it's something obscure, right? Write a book about it, self-publish it, sell it cheap, so you're not like putting a lot of marketing dollars and effort behind selling it. Put it on Amazon, build a little landing page, which you can do for nothing, and sell your book. And then at the bottom of your signature on all your emails and messages, guess what? You're an author. You're a published author. And it's crazy, but your stock amongst the public, the marketplace, goes right through the roof when you're an author. Even if the book you wrote is 50 pages long and took you an hour to write it, and you're printing it off on your own copying machine at home, your stock in the marketplace increased tenfold. Credibility for maybe other streams of income that you're pursuing. So, that's the idea of writing a book. How about the idea of driving Uber or Lyft, right? So, and then there's one, I can't remember the name of it. Somebody can maybe drop it in here. She or something, I think it was based in Australia, but it's women only, women drivers and only women passengers. So that, the idea is it's a safer Uber and Lyft service for women. Sheesh or she or something like that. So drive Uber, drive Lyft. The cool thing about driving Uber and Lyft, by the way, here's trivia. Here's trivia for you. I'm an Uber driver. I think there might be another one on Lanai now, but for 5 years, I was the only Uber driver on Lanai. And I started driving Uber when I lived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. You think, why the heck is Richard Brooke driving Uber? Well, my initiative to do it was I wanted to have conversations with the passengers, and I wanted to film those conversations and create training videos about how to talk to people, how to be curious about people, what kind of questions you ask, and then how you take those questions and kind of drill down based on the answers that the passengers are giving you. And so I had a camera up on the, I think I probably got a little heat for filming conversations with people. And then Kimmy helped me get this all set up. But I got so excited about my passengers getting in my car that my first 4 rides, I never pushed the button on my phone that charged them. So I hauled people all over the place in Spokane and never charged them because I was just excited about talking to them. So, but what's the advantage of Lyft and Uber? Well, you can work as much as you want. You can work an hour a day, 2 hours a day. My Uber driver that picked me up Friday night in San Francisco works 12 hours a day. But in 12 hours a day, he's supporting his family, his wife, his little girl, with a home in Daly City, which is a suburb of San Francisco. Now, I didn't ask him how much he makes, but my guess he makes $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I mean, you know, maybe close to 50 grand a year. And in California and San Francisco, that's not a lot of money, but that's all he does, right? So, you know, figure out how much money could you earn. You could just Google, right? How much do Uber drivers earn an hour in your city? And, you know, maybe it works out to 20 bucks an hour or 15 bucks an hour. But what's the advantage of being an Uber driver? Well, you can go to work whenever you want, right? You're bored. You can't sleep. You got nothing else to do. You want to meet some people. Hello. Be an Uber and Lyft driver. I first got introduced to Uber in an article. I posted this years ago on social media and some training things, but I first got introduced to Uber in an article in, I think it was the New York Times or the New York Post or one of the big newspapers back east, about a guy that was making $100,000 a year as an Uber driver, and that wasn't from driving Uber. So the guy had a custom jewelry business. I don't know if he made the jewelry or he bought the jewelry and sold it, but he had this little gig, right? It wasn't network marketing or direct selling. It was his own deal. He had this little custom jewelry business, like costume jewelry. That was his thing. That's what he was doing for a living. And he got the idea that, hey, I'll drive Uber to supplement my income. And he put a little tiny jewelry display. They had a picture of it. I can't remember, but just something on the dash of his car, right? And he never said anything to the passengers about his jewelry business. He just waited for him to ask, hey, what's that? He made it prominent enough that people would ask, hey, what's that? He sold $100,000 a year worth of jewelry to his Uber passengers. So maybe you could make $100 a week driving Uber or Lyft, right? Well, that's a little over $400 a month. And if you invest that at 10% for 30 years, you're a multimillionaire. Now, I'm not suggesting Uber will even exist 30 years from now, but, you know, you transition to something else like it. So all of this, folks, is in the context of about 50% of the population in this country has a victim mentality. They have an entitlement mentality. Their story is that they're stuck. They're not upwardly mobile. They can't become wealthy. And yet, if you take every wealthy family in America, folks, and you trace back the roots, go back 2 generations, 3 generations, 4 generations, 5 generations, however far you have to go back, you're going to find an entrepreneur back there who didn't have that attitude of entitlement or victim. They had the opportunity of, hey, I'm independent. I'm 100% responsible for me. I'm an opportunist. I'm going to create a business. All wealth comes from business. Originally, somebody created a business. Small business, big business, grew it into a big business. And so, you know, if you look at like, you know, the Rockefellers and the Mellons and, you know, all the really wealthy names in the history of the United States, they're all entrepreneurs somewhere in that, you know, 200, 300, 400 years ago. And all immigrants, by the way, right? There's only one true, like, from the dirt American in America, and that's Native Americans. And of course, they immigrated too from somewhere. I don't know, Russia, South America, somewhere. Everybody's an immigrant. We're all immigrants. God sakes, what a bunch of hypocrites we are. We don't want to let people come in our country. Only because we got here first. Jesus, it's crazy, right? So some immigrant, some entrepreneur somewhere in the wealthiest families in America. Entrepreneur. So, you know, you look at Fred Trump, Trump's father. His father was not wealthy. Fred became wealthy. So Donald's wealthy. It's just the way it happens, right? So you don't have to try to become one of the wealthiest people in America. You can if you want. But how about just set your family up so that they're not in the bottom 50%, of the socioeconomic strata in your country, whatever country you're from, right? How about set your family up once and for all? How about create a net worth of a couple of $1,000,000, which you can do with an extra. So this is the model I'm just going to keep referring back to. $500 a month invested in the stock market for 30 years, over $2 million. And that's equity. So you have $2 million worth of equity. And that $2 million is going to spin off $200,000 a year. So when you're 65 years old or 60 years old, you're making $200,000 a year and you haven't touched the 2 million. So I'm talking to you like if you're 20, 25 years old, right? So if you're 55 or 60 years old, hey, get started, right? Just get started and teach these fundamentals to your kids so that somewhere in the generation flow of your family, somebody stops the backward slide. They stop the desperation. They stop the victimhood. They stop the enablement where, somebody owes me. Even in this country, we have the feeling like the government owes us health care. Wow, that's kind of weird. Why does the government owe us health care? Why don't we take responsibility for our own health care? You want to buy insurance? Great, buy it. But somebody's going to sell it to you. And don't think for a second that they're not going to sell it to you as a profit, because they're an entrepreneur. So they're going to charge you more than they're going to pay for whatever they pay out for your insurance. If they don't charge you 2 or 3 times more, they're not making a profit. It's the way business works. You want to get in the top 50% where it doesn't matter what the government's doing. And remember, we talked about yesterday, all the big businesses, all the wealth, they got all kinds of people lined up on K Street with stacks and stacks and stacks of $1,000 bills handing out to government officials to vote to further prosper their business. It's the way America works. I'm not saying it's fair or right. It's just the way it is. You want to survive in America and prosper in America, you first got to get independent, where you're not at the effect of how the swing in politics go or how the economy goes or how anything goes. And you can do that making $500 a month and just start investing it. And then I would tell you, if you can make $500 a month, you think you could make $1,000. So you may say, well, I'm 50 years old. I'm not 20 anymore. Great. Figure out how to make $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 and invest it. Just accelerate the whole process, right? Squeeze it down into a shorter time frame. You may not end up with $2 million because most of that money gets accumulated in the last 5 years, right? If you go back to like in the 4-year career, some of you are familiar with, if you take a penny and you double it every day for 30 days, that's like squeezing compounding down into the tiniest slice. If you take a penny and double it every day for 30 days, you have over $5 million. And how much do you have at day 15? $163.80. But you got like $330 at day 16 and $660 at day 17 and $1,200 and then $2,400 and $4,800 and then $10,000 and then $20,000 and then $40,000 and $80,000 and $100,000 and $200,000 and $400,000. And see how you ratchet up quickly to $1 million? Like day 25, you're smelling $1 million. That's how wealth creation happens, folks. And the last thing I want to share with you about extra income. There's a million different ways to earn extra income, but there's one very special form of extra income. And that's called residual income or asset income or legacy income. And that kind of income is where you build something once and you get paid forever, like writing a book or writing the film script to a movie that gets produced or writing a song that gets played on Spotify or wherever, right? Build something once, get paid forever. Invent something. You build it once, you get paid forever. Now, why is that kind of income better? Because the work that you put in to create the thing is finite. So it might take you 5 years of writing songs to write a hit song, right? It might take you 5 years of tinkering to invent something. But if you think about, like, put your creativity around, what could I do once and get paid forever? Network marketing is probably the most beautiful example of that anyone can do. I don't know if anyone can write a hit song or a hit movie. I don't know if anyone can invent something that gets patented. I'm sure you can if you surround yourself with the right education, the right community, the right inspiration. Then yes, and you're going to fail 999 times before maybe you have some kind of a hit and create some income. So sure, if you can create the environment and the education, you could do all those things. And you could also do network marketing. And how's network marketing work? For those of you that don't know how it works, real simple. You find a product that you absolutely love. You love it. It's, how when you find a product, let's see if I can give you an example. Products. I don't know. I don't have a good example right in front of me. But, okay, I can't, it's called Eco Cups. Okay, here's an example. So the coffee that I drink and Kimmy drinks is called Eco Cups. And I had to look long and hard to find a pod-based coffee that was recyclable and was fair trade grown and was organic and was a real strong, like Starbucks flavored coffee. I probably bought 10 or 20 brands and spent hours searching on Amazon and other sites before I found Eco Cups. And so now Eco Cups is my brand of coffee. That's what I drink. And I like 2 cups of coffee in the morning. I get decaf, I get caffeinated. I don't need caffeine. I just like the taste of coffee. And so Eco Cups is my brand. And anybody that asks me, hey, what about, you got one of those K-Cup things? I'm going to tell them about Eco Cups. So that's my brand of coffee. My brand of email is called Sans Mail. S-A-N-S Mail. I should have affiliate links on all this stuff. That's another source of income, right? If you have enough people listening. So Sans Mail sorts my email. So the primary people I want to read their email, it's always at the top. And then I have another category of kind of the educational blogs and stuff that I want to read whenever I have time. And then all the spam I never even see. And I think Sans Mail is, I don't know, couple $100 a year or something like that. Best email program ever. So there's 2 examples, folks, of products that I love. And because I love them, I recommend them. Now, I don't go up and down the street and knock on doors and say, hey, have you ever heard of Eco Cups? I don't do that. I don't follow the 3-foot rule. I get within 3 feet, or I guess now be 6 feet of another human being. And I don't say, hey, have you ever heard of Eco Cups? I don't plaster it all over social media, right? I'm just an authentic, raving fan customer of the product. And given the opportunity, I'll call it an appropriate opportunity, I'm going to recommend Eco Cups. Now, if Eco Cups had an opportunity where I got a percentage of all the Eco Cups I recommended, and I got a percentage of all the Eco Cups any other Eco Cups fans recommended, and 2nd generation and 3rd generation and 4th generation and 5th generation, then I would also be inviting people that tried Eco Cups to look at the financial opportunity with Eco Cups. Why not? Starting with, how about you'd like to have the best fair trade, organic, best tasting, recyclable K-Cup on the planet for free every month? I don't even want to tell you what I think Kimmy and I spend for coffee every month. I'll bet it's $200 or $300. Right? Because actually the way I do it is I make a K-Cup, and then I have a Nespresso machine, and it's one of those pods, and so I put a layer of espresso on top of the coffee. Right? Oh, we might spend $300 or $400. How about your coffee's free? How about your email's free? Actually, SandMail does have a affiliate program. I haven't used it, but how about your email's free? Every time you get something for free, you're going to buy anyway. You're making money, and you're making money tax-free because you don't get taxed on what they give you for free. So how's network marketing work? Find a product you absolutely love that's sold by a network marketing company and use it authentically as a raving fan and recommend it to other people, and then invite people to look at the income option. 3 things. Be an authentic customer. Authentic meaning you're not using the product so you can make money. That doesn't work in network marketing. Never has worked, never will work. Network marketing is a pure word of mouth opportunity. You have to be an absolute authentic customer. You have to be a raving fan of the product, whether you ever made any money or not. You just have to. And if you find a product you like, a company you like, people you like, and you want to pursue the income option, the first thing you got to do is fall in love with the product. Authentically fall in love with it. And then from that comes the natural, authentic recommendation. And I use that word specifically because I think it encapsulates the spirit of selling the product. It's not knocking on doors. It's not harassing people. It's not arguing with people if they say, well, I don't like the label, or I don't like that it comes from wherever. Maybe it comes from Honduras. I don't know where it comes from, but I don't like the country it comes from, right? I don't like that it's in plastic, right? Because it is, and it's like has some special recycling opportunities with it. So there's lots of reasons to object to EcoCup. I get it. I'm with you on that. I'm not going to argue with you about it at all. I'm not going to spend 1 second arguing with you. So, maybe you sell a weight loss program and somebody looks at it and goes, oh, you got whey protein in your protein drink. I'm not going to use whey protein or soy protein, right? Is that worth arguing about? Not if you want to be a network marketer excited about what you're doing 40 years from now. Arguing with people wears you out. Arguing with people creates stress. Arguing with people creates disease, right? So just recommend the product. People buy it, great. They don't buy it, great. They try it, they don't like it, whatever. And then you introduce people to the income option. How do you do that? Just tell them your story. Hey, I fell in love with this product. I recommend it to other people. I'm getting my product for free, and I'm actually building residual income. What is or asset income? What is that? Well, I'm building it once, and I'm going to get paid forever. How's that work? Well, over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years, I'm recommending the product. I'm building a sales team of people that recommend the product. And then it actually, 4, 16, 64, 256, 1,024. All those people have customers. All of a sudden, I'm doing $20, $30, $40,000 a month in coffee sales or whatever sales, and I'm getting 7% on all of it. And after I get 4, 5, 6, 700 people on my team, what I personally do doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much product I sell. Doesn't matter if I recruit new members. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get paid forever as long as people are using that product. Yesterday, I showed you Mix-A-Go, product I've been using for 44 years. It's not network marketing anymore, but 44 years I've been using that product. So think about if you're going to put in time. So let's say you're going to do an earned income opportunity like Uber. If you're going to drive Uber for the next 5 or 6 years, let's say you're going to do it an hour a day, that's 5 or 6 years, an hour a day you're going to put in anyway. And you put that time into Uber, and let's say it's 5 years from now and you don't want to drive Uber anymore, how much Uber money do you get on the 6th year, the 7th year, the 8th? None. None, nunca. None. Ever again. You're not leaving any assets. You're not leaving any wealth for your family. If something happens to you, you get hit by a truck, your family gets nothing from your Uber driving. And so sometimes people ask, well, how big does my team need to get before it's residual? Well, it's different with every product and every company. There's no exact science to it. But my experience is it's somewhere around 500 or 600 people on your team. With the right product, that business is going to continue to grow, maybe slowly, but it's going to continue to grow whether you're there or not. And to be categorized as residual income, it only has to stay flat. It doesn't have to grow. Residual income is flat income. Doesn't have to grow at all, and it's still residual income. So if you create a business that pays you $1,000 a month, and then you retire from it 5 years from now, and it continues to pay you $1,000 a month, now you can apply the rule of 200 to it. What's that income worth? At least $200,000 as an asset. Why? Well, just think about it like a rental house. You'd have to have a $200,000 home, a rental home in your pool, free and clear to net after maintenance, taxes, management, $1,000 a month. It's based on a 6% annual return. So if you're going to put in 5 years anyway, making extra money, why wouldn't you put it into something that'll pay you for the rest of your life? And I'm not just talking about your life. I'm talking about your spouse's life, your kid's life, your grandkids' life. If you pick the right company with legacy products, you get paid forever. Build it once, get paid forever. That is, in my experience, the number one strategy for financial independence. Find a product you love. Find a product you're going to recommend anyway. And build a people that do the same. Build a team of people that love the product and are going to recommend it. Now you have a sales team. And do it in a network marketing company so that everybody has the exact same opportunity, which creates the exponential growth. Because I can choose to recommend the product. Somebody joins my team on the 4th level, they can also choose to recommend the product, which creates the 5th level. And the people on the 5th level can also choose to recommend the product, which creates the 6th level. And it grows exponentially. And I get my income up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and it's being done by 1,000 or 2,000 people around the world. No longer matters what I do. So I could quit actively building the business because I want to, or I could quit because I have to, and I'd still get paid. No better opportunity on the planet for financial independence. And we're not talking about trying to make 7 figures or $500,000 a year. You can do that. But the more realistic opportunity is, how can I make $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month for the rest of my life? $2,000 a month in residual income will buy you a little 40-acre parcel with your tiny house. And that's what I have to say about financial independence in our Daily Dose of Salt Financial IQ series. I might call one of you today. Thanks, Doug. I want to get to your book. Yeah, real estate, EXP model and real estate. I mean, if you're going to sell real estate, why would you sell in anything other than Keller Williams or EXP? They're both network marketing companies. That's right. In both of those companies, you can recruit agents and you get an override on their sales. And so on and so on. Why would you be a real estate agent and not be in Keller Williams or EXP? Crazy, right? Oh, hey, Mike, I didn't even notice that was from you. Anybody want to be a real estate agent, call Mike Green. He's in EXP. He's looking for building a sales team all over the world, right, Mike? Look at Donna Austin. Did you see my bottle of Mexico yesterday, Donna? Yeah, I think it's called MX something. I don't know what it is, but it still works the same. Dr. Clausen. Remember him? Romero, my vegan living is coming along just fine. I went to friends last night and they made a chicken casserole. And I kind of had to pick out the chicken a little bit, which was seemed a little rude. But I'm not a fanatic, right? So I probably ate a piece of chicken in there accidentally, and I'm not going to die. I've been eating chicken my whole life, so I'm not crazy about it. It's just a preference. All right. Well, if somebody wants 30 minutes of coaching, drop your number in here, and please don't drop your number in unless you're up to something big. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I don't want to listen to whining. If you're up to something big and you're stuck, drop your number in. I'll call you. One of you. Random. Yeah, Lucy, I'm a vegan. Don't look at my cattle ranch. There's no cattle here. Marcia. All right, Marcia. You're the first one to pop a number. I'm calling you. All right, gang. I'll see you tomorrow.